Welcome back to the Key and J Booked Podcast. This is a very special interview. This is our first guest on the podcast, and it's none other than Ladarrion Williams, who is a first. Let's make some noise for him. Thank you for joining us. He is a playwright, an author, a filmmaker, and a screenwriter. He's produced and manifested some YouTube short movies.
Yep.
He's also written some plays, and he's just written a book that has gravitated to the world of African American readers. He is a writer of a 3-part trilogy series,
Yes.
Bloodattheroot,
Yes.
with Bones at the Crossroads, releasing July 29th. Please pre-order. Go get your copies. I'm pretty sure he's going to tell you all about where you can get your copies, and please support our African American authors. Thank you for being on the show. Kiara, go ahead. You can start. You can start, because I don't want to waste his time.
Wonderful co-host Jay. I have been fangirling over Ladarrion Williams for a really long time. Ever since I started this book, I read it last year, reread it, getting ready for Bones at the Crossroads. Got it right next to me. I sleep next to it. I'm living, breathing the world of Cayman University. Yes. So I am, of course, fangirling, but we don't want to take too much of your time. We're going to get right in. Like Jay said, you came from screenwriting. So what inspired you to go from writing plays to then take that and motivate you to then write a best-selling fantasy book?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank y'all for having me on here. First guest. Ooh, okay.
Yes, you're very special. Number one.
Yes. So yeah, like I started off writing plays. I did theater in high school. I was an actor, writing plays, doing all that thing, and I went to college for 2 years. I didn't go to a magical HBCU, unfortunately. I didn't go to an HBCU, period.
Yeah.
But I did 2 years at a small college in Tennessee. And there I was writing more plays, and I started to get into screenwriting. Like, I wanted to write my own shows, and I was watching like True Blood. I was watching like The Vampire Diaries, like all
some of my favorites. Yes.
Listen, like some of my favorite shows. And so I dropped out of college, went back home to Alabama, and started diving more into screenwriting. And, living in Alabama, at the time, there was not a lot of resources at screenwriting. So I had to find everything on Google. And so I found my first script, which was True Blood. I found like the actual script to the show. And I was like, I want to write my own pilot to something like this and kind of create my own world. And so I did that, packed up, moved to LA with that one little pilot script.
Right.
And it just started writing more television and being around filmmakers, being around actors who've been on TV shows that we all loved growing up, and just really learning that craft and learning all of that, and then translating it to my playwriting and translating it to my book. So it's just because you use different parts of your brain when you're writing screenplays and books. They're all three of them are so different. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. The first question.
Absolutely.
I kind of got into it.
Yeah, of course. And piggybacking off of that, did any of your theater experience influence how you wrote some of the scenes and the characters? Because something that I loved about Bloodattheroot was the fact that it was so dramatic. Like, the action scenes were literally action-packed. I felt like I was reading it, but I could see it in my head like it was a movie.
Yes.
So how did your theater experience contribute to how you wrote some of the characters and the stories?
Yeah, great question. I writing a play, like, you just hear characters talking, right? For those that go to see theater, like, you just see people talking on stage. But I'm a student of August Wilson. I'm a student of Lorraine Hansberry, and so I love the way they capture language, especially like Black folks in the South, and the poetry of it all. And capturing every single character, their voice, like from Mama Aya to Malik to Tay to even the Montclairs, because they kind of speak with a more, a better vernacular. Just listening to, like, as a playwright, you're taught to listen to people talk, the way they talk. So for Mama Aya, the way my grandmother's no longer here, but I sit on the phone with my mom, and the way she kind of interacts with my auntie, right, and like my uncles, and the way they talk. And it may be the most mundane things to other people, but like, it's so much poetry. There's so much there in the language. So I kind of captured that for Mama Aya, or like even the older characters, like Bawan Samdi is kind of like an uncle of mine. Like, you know, that's the way he speaks in that very. He'll have a cigarette or he'll have a cigar in his hand and a bottle of liquor.
Literally,
right.
Yep. Uncle Sam was one of my favorite characters. I liked him.
Listen, he's a trip.
Yeah.
But those are real people, and I wanted, you know, a lot of times with YA fantasy, like I was like, well, a lot of these characters speak like they're in a Shakespearean play. Like I want to, you know, like
the real raw.
Yeah, I want them to speak in the way that I just when I was growing up, I was just hearing people talk. My friends, the kids, like my nephew, and like the way he interacts with other kids. Like I wanted all of that to be put on the page, and I wanted it to be lifted off the page. And that's the dialogue portion of it, but like the cinematic part of it, that just comes from like my screenwriting background. I wanted, when you crack open Bloodattheroot, I want you to say, "Ooh, I can smell the cooking, right?
Yes.
I can see the yard, like I can feel the sun beaming on the hot pavement."
Yes.
If you're from the South, like especially like that July in Alabama, like I could, you know, you could feel that sweat, you know, sticking to your clothes. And so I wanted to infuse all of that into the book. And so, cause I grew up in the South, I remember what all those feelings, you know, felt like. I just wanted to make it a very cinematic experience because it came from a screenplay. Like, for a lot of people that don't know, Bloodattheroot started off as a screenplay first, before a book. So, but I wanted to keep that in there, the magic, the way you can hear it, like the crackling sounds, the you know, you can feel the wind, right? Like when you're turning the page, like you can just feel it. Like, I wanted to infuse all of that into that. I don't know. I'm glad that people are saying that they can actually feel it, that they can visualize the book, because that was the goal, like while writing it. You know?
Absolutely.
And it's
yeah. And one of the things, we could divvy from the questions real quick. When last year, when I jumped on your live, and I told you that I worked at a juvenile detention center.
Yes.
That was me. That was me. And I'm dealing with incarcerated youth who've done some, you know, some different type of crimes. And when I brought the book in, I didn't know how it was initially going to be received. And I mean, I'm talking about some of the worst of the worst kids. When they came up to me after they finished reading the book, because the book got passed around to everybody, and they said that I told you that they were so excited just to see a Black author and a Black young man on a cover of a book. And I've had some kids come up to me and tell me like, this is some of the best reading, and all they do is read. And they told me like, this is some of the best reading that they've ever had, because it was somebody who understood where we came from, can describe the scenery, can describe our folks. You know, I had people say, yo, that's my uncle, or my aunt's always, she always partying, she always acting like, you know what I'm saying, like that. And to me, it just, it spelled, you got it right. You did your job. You got it right.
And yes, thank you. I needed that because during that time that you messaged me, and I remember that. I think that was that during the time where the whole Black men don't go to college.
Yep.
Or Black men don't read. Oh, and also it was during the time where I was kind of low key getting attacked on threads about Black boys or boys in general in books. And a lot of people were, you know, and I'm sorry, like you had hopefully I can say this. I had a lot of white women come at me like, there are boys in books and they are highly reflected. I'm like, no, like you don't catch a lot of young Black men in books, and at the forefront and at the center, and boys like Malik who are the custodians of their own.
Yes.
And when you messaged me that, and when you messaged me that message, I was like, I posted on Threads. I was like, see, like y'all, like a lot of these boys don't see themselves. That's why they don't read. Like that's why they don't read, because they're like. For me, I quit reading because I was like, okay, Percy Jackson is cool. I think he's one of the coolest characters, but
absolutely, but he don't look like me.
He don't look like me. Like he don't sound like me.
He don't sound like me. Yep.
Yeah, like all these, like you know, the YA boom when I was in high school, like the Maze Runners and the
even the Hunger Games, Divergent, all these books that are just and they're
none with our
stories,
representation like that. Side characters.
And it reminds me
Absolutely.
of just like, when Halle Bailey played the Little Mermaid and
Mm-hmm.
when Miles Turner was like the Black Spider-Man. Like, I remember my
Mm-hmm.
niece and nephew, just being so excited that they can look and see that's a character that looks like me.
Uh-huh.
That's how I felt when I read this book. It was just the vernacular that they use. Like you said, you use inspiration from real Black women in your life, and you can
Mm-hmm.
feel that in the story. It feels like I'm coming home. That's how it feels when I'm reading the book. It really
Yes.
does, because it's like these characters sound like me. And I love fantasy, even when I read the books that don't necessarily have characters that look like me. But imagine me finding the book where not only do they look like me, because it's one thing to write in a Black character, but they sound like me. They're talking like me. They're listening to Lotto and J. Cole. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, that was one of my favorite parts of the book, can I say. It was like a remix of the lyrics, was like the first word of every chapter. I absolutely love that. I feel like there needs to be a playlist for this book, because some of the songs was absolutely hitting. I was like, I need to start jotting all these down. But just piggybacking off of what Jay said, when I read it, I was like, finally a book. They talk like us, they sound like us, they look like us. And especially if you've listened to the audiobook version, you're hearing that narrator was amazing. And it's like a dramatic version. This book, honestly, it's about magic, but it really was magical. Like, it really truly was. So,
and to hear it before she get into it, when they asked me, this is the first book, I'm 40 years old, and this is the first book I've read that had a lead African American in a fantasy genre.
Exactly.
This is the first book that I've read. So I definitely want to give you kudos to that, because I've been reading since the Harry Potter days, and I've never come across a book like this, not even, and even in the genre. Like, when I didn't know that this stuff or any type of African American, now is more or less, is a surplus of African American fantasy writers. But this book right here, I think it broke all the walls and all the genres.
I agree.
I appreciate that, because it's just to show people that, because as Black writers, we're taught, like, if you go through the school system, right, like, if for people that we're taught that you have to wash away that, right, you kind of have to whitewash it all.
You do.
Yeah, you're, and I've been taught that for years, but I just remember like just radical, like just being in my playwriting class at school and like learning about all these dead white playwrights. And I was like, oh, where's the August Wilkins? Where's the Lord? My favorite, like, shout out to Dominique Morisseau. Like, where's the Katori Hall who wrote, P Valley? Like, who write in that it's just that, it's so powerful seeing something on the screen or cracking open a book and you're like, yo, I can literally identify down to the way they look, the way they talk, the way they, the way they dress, and making it more entertaining and also educating. That's when you say the lyrics. I was listening to, and I've never listened to J. Cole before writing Bloodattheroot. I've never listened to him. I really didn't listen to Kendrick either, unless it was like the Black Panther.
That was a good soundtrack. It was really good. He killed
beautiful.
It. Yeah.
But like listening to J. Cole, I was like, yo, this is what Malik is actually this is actually what he's going through. Like, let me slip in like little things to remind readers, like, oh yeah, Malik he loves J. Cole. He's a very thoughtful young man. Like, he listens to the lyrics and he internalizes them. And that was for me to do as well, like writing the book. So it's just, I just try to infuse everything that I grew up. I know a lot of people didn't appreciate it, and people did, and that's okay. That's just the way of the world. But the first chapter, even the prologue, that was literally my childhood. Like, that is exactly what I went through. I just put magic in there, but like that scene was to talk about like domestic violence, dealing with domestic violence as a Black kid, and witnessing that, right, in your own childhood home. But that is, and having it explode, that is metaphorical for me, like, dealing with domestic violence and being exposed to things that I had no business being exposed to.
So early.
Some people appreciated it, some people didn't. But that's literally what I grew up in, and that was my neighborhood. So I just try to write from the truth as best as I can. So, yeah.
And that kind of drops into question number 4 is like, when it's, well, sorry, question number 3, like the magic system in Bloodattheroot feels like she says, both new and ancestral. How did you come up with it? What inspirations did you have?
Yeah, I mean, I was very inspired by, just learning. I got really tired of learning about like Greek mythology.
Oh yeah, it's interesting, but you see it done so much,
so many times.
Like, and we learned it about it in school.
Yes,
we learned about it here, and I'm just like, I'm like, okay, but what are other? And also, like, I know African mythology or cosmology. Sorry, because some people really believe in the spiritual systems. Like voodoo is real for a lot of people. But what really inspired me to really kind of investigate this magic system was American Horror Story Coven.
Oh, that's the best one. Yes, that's the best one for sure.
And when I was in college, I remember I was like, "Who is Marie Laveau?" And I finding out when Angela Bassett did an interview, she said that she was a real woman. She was a real voodoo priestess.
Yep.
And I was like, "Oh, let me like kind of learn about this." And I kind of like delved myself into voodoo and hoodoo and learning the differences between the two. But but growing up in the South, but they're demonized.
Yep.
Because like you know, through media, Hollywood, every time we see something with voodoo or hoodoo, it's seen as evil.
Yep.
But then Greek mythology or something or European based magic is always seen as
that is such a good point. That's so true. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, let me investigate why. And I always bring this up in interviews, but I remember having a conversation with my mom, and because she was seeing all the Bloodattheroot videos and people like wanting it to be published. She's like, well, why do you like that magic stuff? Like, I don't understand. Like, isn't that like kind of like devil worshiping or something, like, you know, evil? And I was just like, okay, we're gonna have to have a conversation, like, because I can't blame you because it is seen as that. And I was like, well, we grew up in Alabama. You grew up in the dirt, like in the backwoods, right? I said, look at that cinnamon broom that's on your wall.
Where do you think that came from?
Right,
where do you think came from? Right.
Yes.
Why do you think that did? And she looked at it. She's like, And I was like, you remember Auntie so and so used to sweep from the back of the house all the way to the porch and out to the street? Why do you think sweeping from west to east? Like, why do you think she was doing that?
Yep.
And people in the Baptist church, I grew up in a very like Black Baptist church.
Same.
People falling out, you know, speaking in tongues, dancing around, and I was like, all those things. People sitting on the porch, people were like laying on their hands. People like every time I used to get like heartburn or something, like, here, eat a spoonful of mustard or rub a honey under. I was like, where did you
get this from? Yeah.
Like, where did you like that was passed down from your mother, her mother, and her mother, like all of that, and just learn and like and seeing her face kind of like, oh, I didn't even think about it that way. I was like, yes, because it's been demonized so much in our community that people are kind of shy away from it. And so I wanted to put it in this book to celebrate it, to celebrate its beauty, but also celebrate its complexities. Like, it's not good, it's not bad, but it's like there are things. There's either or, right? Like, I wanted to celebrate it and put it in this full complexity in Mama Aya's voice and Malik. And having Malik, a 17-year-old Black boy, learn the differences between all of this. So yeah, I was inspired by Zora Neale Hurston, the way she wrote about it.
Yep.
I was inspired by I wanted to take the A.H. Coven, the show, and because they demonized it in the show, but they made the white witches. They made them look the supreme, right? The Queen Supreme.
Yep.
And I'm like,
yep.
But you have a 300-year-old witch, Black woman, who basically ran New Orleans.
Everything. Yep.
But the white girls are the most powerful. No, let's stop. So yeah, I infused all of that and creating my own, taking from it and being inspired by it. But obviously, like Banwan SMD is real, and the Haitian Revolution is real, and the Bokours, they're real. But like really making it entrenched in Blackness and like the Creole. I was like, I don't want them to speak in Latin because, like, you know, usually when you see spells,
it is.
It's in Latin, right? I was like, I want it to be, and I don't know African language.
Yeah, I see that there was some Yoruba in there as well.
Yeah, it was some Yoruba in there. I was like, oh, okay, okay. I want to make sure but I'm also want to make sure I'm respectful.
Exactly.
I didn't get all of it right on the first time, so that's why for book 2 I hired an actual Haitian person who speaks the language. And for book 2 and book 3. And so, yeah, I wanted to infuse all of that to show also the Haitian Revolution.
Yep.
And learning, I did not learn about the Haitian Revolution until I was in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Alabama school systems. It inspired a lot. It inspired a lot of civil rights movements.
It did.
It inspired a lot of uprisings, insurrections in like the Carolinas and the Gullah Geechee, and from all the way up there to Alabama to Florida. Like it inspired so much of our Black history, and I'm like, why is this not talked about? I'm so confused. And so I researched that, and I realized that they were praying to gods and spirits, and I was like, who are their gods and spirits? And I'm learning about, you know, Banwan Samdi, my man Brigitte, and you know, all these spirits. And I was like, yo, like what?
What's
like
happening, right?
These are beautiful Black people, and I've never seen this before because I'm so used to seeing Hercules, I'm so used to seeing Zeus and all these other European based fairies, like white fairies, and I'm so used to seeing the whiteness of it all. And so I was like, yo, this needs to be in a book. And so yeah, I put it in there, and having Malik learn about it all was really, because I was learning about it through his eyes.
Right.
I felt the same way. When I was reading it, I felt like I was learning through Malik, and that's what made it fun for me. I looked up, like, it was one of the warriors from the Haitian Revolution that they were talking about. It actually reminded me of the movie Woman King, because these women were badass women. Like, they was handling business, you know? And I looked it up, and I was like, this is real. Like, this is not, like, I really felt like I was learning through Malik. I absolutely love that you put in the discussion about the difference between hoodoo and voodoo, because I'd heard both, but I kind of thought that they were the same thing. So I loved learning about that. I loved how you said it's not just right or wrong. There's nuances to all of it. There are some people who abuse this right, this privilege, and there are some people who use it for what it's supposed to be used for. I also loved the heritage that you put in it. When Tay first goes to Mama Aya's house, he has diabetes. He doesn't have his insulin, and he's worried. Malik is like, you better get my brother right. Like, he needs his insulin. And you know what? I don't remember insulin being mentioned at all in the rest of the book, because they were healing him through the food and the herbs and the things that they were eating. I thought that was so important, because, you know, we call Black food soul food for a reason. You know what I mean? It's healing of the spirit. So I love that connection. I love the way it was connected in our roots and our history. And it went all the way back to slavery. I've always thought, you know, how did they not think that we didn't have our own orishas and gods and people that we worship, and they were just so connected to the people and connected to the earth. Like, how did we get so far away from that? And it just the power in this book, I felt like it was giving me back my ancestors. Malik would touch base with his ancestors many times throughout the story, and I feel like I was doing the same through him. Like, I could just feel it, and it was just so fun and so beautiful to see that our heritage is not only rooted in slavery. That's not it. Like, think about the power that we packed even back then, that we had back then, that trickles down throughout the rest of our generational line. Like, I love that. I loved how every single character in the book was Black. Like, you know, it was like all of them.
I loved it. Light skin, brown skin, dark skin. It was a little bit of everything.
And it was the kids in this book, Malik, Tay, we didn't really see him in school, but he was such an emotionally mature young man. Alexis, which is my favorite character.
Here we go.
I loved Alexis. I loved her. I don't care what anybody says. I'm hoping, wink, wink, that she gets some redemption, but I guess we'll see. That's my girl. But just the students in the book were incredibly intelligent. The discussions that they had were intelligent. And I think, like, people reading this book, you see Black excellence. Like, they're in college, but they look how smart they are. They're really, like, debating this, and it was just really beautiful to see. And like you said, we glamorize Harry Potter and all these other Percy Jackson, like, oh, they're praying to the gods, and you know. But when it comes to us using what we have, what has been passed down to us, it's always like, no, that's evil, that's bad. I grew up in the Baptist church as well. Anything like that, it was it's demonic, and it's crazy. Like you said, society has demonized it when we glorify the whitewashed version. So that's why I said this book is just so powerful, like connecting us to our lineage, connecting us to our ancestors, and just seeing how the magic works and just how powerful everybody was, and they're learning how to use their magic. I really just love the connection to us. That's what I really loved about the book. So,
and I liked, for me, the progression, what I was looking for, and I was like, let me see if he tap into this. He took us from how we are as when you're living one way, but you also captured us in another way, which means Malik wasn't always into, he didn't have the money, he didn't have the allure, he didn't have the class and the elegance, but you showed him from the beginning that he wasn't just this rich kid. I'm not giving y'all the rich, you know what I'm saying, uppity class people from the beginning, but what he does is he walks into elegance and grace. You know, even when he's going at it with the chancellor, it's like, no, we don't talk like that here. We don't say those words here.
Yeah.
He's being taught lessons throughout the whole book, whether it was from his professors or from his grandmother, even though he wasn't really receptive of the information because he had his own battles that he was trying to fight. I like how when he moved from Helena, Alabama and got to the Bayou, you had everybody with class, with grace, and you know, you kind of threw your little jazz on top. Like, we can be in a higher form of the above the poverty level. Like, we have our own things too, and we have our own systems too. So I thought that you definitely tackled that class, that elegance, that grace, that us as people, like, we have, and we're not just shown outside just shooting, robbing, and all this stuff. We're smart, we're educated. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can live amongst each other and not be beefing and everything like that. And we have regular college kids too. We're not just the other people. You know what I mean? So I thought that was an excellent way of you writing as well.
Thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to showcase a lot, and it's hard, you know, it's especially when you have an army of a cast. It's hard, but I wanted to make sure that you see everybody's point of view. Even through all three books, you're going to see everybody's point of view. You're going to see the Bonclairs. They're more refined and they're more, you know, they have a higher stature, but you also see Mama Aya, and you're going to see the difference. I can't wait for people to meet more of the Bonclairs. Like, you're going to see a difference of the two families, and like, it's just so beautiful. And I wanted it. Yeah. And like you said, like the college kids, like I remember going to Morehouse and like at the time I was writing Bones at the Crossroads when I was at Morehouse, and I would just sit outside and I would just listen, and you would just see different kids, and you could tell the way. And again, that playwriting ear comes on. I would listen to their different dialects, and I would listen to the way they sound out words. And some of them had like that real strong country accent. Some of them had like the very more refined accent, and I would just listen, and I'm like, I'm stealing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm stealing, but it's just like, like just showcasing difference of opinions. Like, Malik is exposed to not only Kanan, but he's exposed to Alexis and she's teaching him, and Professor Kumale, but also Savan, right?
Yes.
Like,
my favorite character.
Yes,
my favorite character.
Yes,
I love the twins.
I did love Savan, and like I did.
Yeah, and I can't wait for y'all to meet, to get to know them a lot more, and even D-Lo. I know a lot of people. I got a lot of flack for.
Oh, I wanted to bring that up. The thing is, I thought it
Why though?
I thought it was kind of funny.
D-Lo was badass. Why?
But his name is D-Lo.
No nonsense.
I think it was because Jay, which I thought it was kind of funny when I was reading it. His name is
so
D-Lo,
that,
which is
man.
what they call, you know, down low.
We so past that.
But in my head, I was just thinking he did kind of a reverse, because D-Lo was proud of who he was. Like, he even gave a speech about how hard it was being a bisexual man, like a bisexual black man. It's hard enough being a black man, but then a man who likes other men. Some people, just especially in our black community, I don't know why that's frowned upon so much. Like, they protect the murderers, the rapists, but oh my God, let you be gay, and it's like, oh my God. You know, so I loved Savan's representation as being, what is it called?
Binary.
Yes.
Non-binary.
Yes. Him being binary, him explaining that. I loved how, or not him, excuse me, excuse me, please forgive me. The whole rest of the book, they use that pronoun. Soon as Malik figured out that the pronoun was they, them, that's the only thing that he used.
Respect.
Loved it. I loved the black boy love between Malik and D-Lo. Like, you know, some black men, they feel some kind of way about having a gay best friend. Like, oh, I don't do that stuff. No, Malik never felt that way about D-Lo. They hug it out. They're roommates. They're cool. He even has conversations with him about his sexuality. I loved seeing that. That healed something in me, because so many people feel like, oh my gosh, if you associate with a gay man, that means you're gay. And that's not what it means at all. Being a man being confident in your sexuality and knowing who you are. Like, you can hang out with anybody. That doesn't mean anything. And this is your brother. It's just your friend. Like, who cares? Like, you know, so
Malik Malik had
I love that.
Malik's like, yo, I got a lot of shit like to worry about anyway. Like, that doesn't matter to me. It was so interesting because D-Lo is actually based off of a real childhood friend of mine. His name was D-Lo. But in the neighborhood, we called him D-Lo.
Yeah.
Like, that was his nickname. Like, D-Lo was just a nickname, and it was just. And I was showing my friends back in Alabama. I was like, y'all, look what some people are saying about the D-Lo character. The name, they was like, this is homophobic. This is this, and I'm like, no, it had nothing to do with his sexual. That was just his nickname, and so it's just so. But you know, you can't control the way people are going to interpret your work. But I love that people are bringing light to that because I wrote that for a reason. Like, D-Lo being bisexual, and he's like, yo, like. This is what I like. If you don't like it, go kick rocks.
And he had no shame about it. That was the thing. It was never like he had to hide it. He was ashamed.
Our first introduction
because
to
nothing to be ashamed of. You know, it was just normal. Nothing. I love that. Which I don't mind. You know, LGBTQ books. Love them. You know, my best friend's gay. My sister's gay. Like, everybody's gay.
Absolutely.
I love it. You know, love it. I'm a proud ally. You know what I mean? But I hate reading books and the person is gay, and it's just this thing like they're ashamed of it, or which it happens. You know, authors are telling the truth.
Absolutely.
But I love reading books when it's not even a question. Like, they're gay, so what? It's not even the biggest part of D-Lo's personality. You know what I mean? He was hilarious.
Right.
Like, I thought he was funny. He said some funny stuff. He was smoking, and like I really liked him. Like, him being bisexual was not like his only character trait. So I love that you included that. That's something that I did see. Like you said, when I was reading some of the reviews, because I like to see, do people love it as much as I love it? And that is something that I seen that people were really saying. I know you said you didn't see it, but they were saying it was homophobic to write a character as D-Lo and he's gay. And again, in my head, I was just thinking, but he wasn't down low. Like,
I understand that. Yeah,
that was the one thing. I was like, no, wait. I was like, are people actually reading the chapters or the sections that D-Lo is in? Because he says it off top. He's like, and Malik witnesses.
Like,
as soon as he come in the room, dude, leave out the room, like,
literally. And they were just cool. He was not like, let me hide it.
He was like, oh, okay.
Oh, Malik was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Okay. Because remember, Malik and Alexis had got busy the night before too. So they was just all like, yeah, we all got some. Like, it was just,
that's it.
I loved it. And just the black boy joy that was in the book. I loved how, like, defensive Malik was over Tay. Like, that's his adopted brother, but he had his back. Like, blood. He didn't even care. We're leaving.
It felt like blood.
We're leaving. Anything happened, Tay, go pack your stuff. We're leaving. And Tay would just be like, man, I'm good. I don't want to leave yet. Like, slamming car doors and stuff. But just that black boy joy, and just a black boy reading that and realizing, like, you got your black brothers, they're your brothers. You can love on them, you can hug them, you can tell them you love them, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's strength in that. Like, you know, I'm such a black unity type of person, and I feel like our people sometimes use any kind of reason to separate when everybody already hates us. Can we just band together? So this was a book that had so much representation as far as LGBTQ, and the
African American culture,
and mixing it with the African American culture, and it worked. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Which brings it to our next like 2-part question, which is like 5 and 6, is what is it like to write a fantasy in a genre, or write a book in a genre that's pretty much been forecasted and foreshadowed with nothing but Caucasian fantasy novels, and what do you hope that black teens in particular take away from your book?
Yes.
You know, it's been, Bloodattheroot was interesting. And like my editors, my publishers, they took a big chance on it. They took a big risk on it because, and I say this all the time on social media, because when I was starting to get back into books, I was like, yo, white boys really get to burn down the world and they're still seen as human.
Absolutely.
Like, even the way sometimes book tropes are modeled, they're modeled after the broody white teen.
Yes.
And it's so interesting coming into this space and as a black man and being vocal about certain things. I don't think a lot of people appreciated some of the language that I had in regards to representation. I said, this is about a book about a black boy, his unfiltered, raw POV. He's not going to have the white love interest, or he's not going to have, and unfortunately, like the NYA, a lot of times, and more than so, Black girls are centered, and I want that and more for Black girls.
But this was for Black men. Yeah,
this is a book for Black boys to say, like you said, Jay, like when you went into the juvenile detention center, right? Like they could finally see themselves and they can be immersed into a story. And taking that and taking all of and having my publishers say like, okay, we're gonna get behind you, but we're a little bit skeptical of this. We're a little bit and having people see people judging Malik a lot. And I seen
that too. And I didn't get it. He's 17.
He's 17.
You know, I kept thinking that he's 17. Like
absolutely.
All the critiques I kept seeing was like, what did y'all expect from a 17-year-old? You know, they were upset that he was going crazy on Alexis and saying, did you sleep with Danja? And it was just like, he's 17. Like, I don't know why y'all just expect him to have this adult emotional.
Like we wasn't all in college. Like 17, we wasn't smoking, drinking, and having sex in college. Like this is what you're supposed to go to college for, to learn all of these things.
17. Then I know there was another thing I kept hearing people say, that they didn't like Malik and Alexis together because they felt like, they weren't really together that long as children to forge this strong connection. And my thing was, y'all ain't seen Norbit. You remember Norbit and Kate in the freaking orphanage?
That's what I'm on.
Literally, they was not together that long either. Like they were together maybe a month or two. You know what I mean? That was it. And then she went off. But Norbit had Kate when he had nobody. Malik had Alexis when he had nobody. She made him feel normal. She was the only other person he knew with magic. That's a powerful connector. Just like he never really got over his mother disappearing, like Alexis was a big event for him. So then seeing her again at this wonderful HBCU, excellent magical university was like my childhood come back. I get a piece of my childhood back. And then everybody was judging Malik. I'm like, Alexis was also going for it. She was also saying she felt a connection with him. She wanted to hold his hand. She was getting really close to him. So it wasn't just Malik. I feel like they put everything on Malik when, he was upset. Why would he not be upset? He just seen this girl do some crazy psycho magic that could ruin her soul. And she says, you know what? The only person who understands me is Danja. Like, I would be like, okay, so y'all together. And I came here and this man has been treating me funny, acting funny towards me. And now you're saying, he's the only one that understands you. I'd probably be like, so what y'all got going on? I would probably say the same thing. But every time I see that in the reviews, I'm just like, he's 17, y'all. He's still a child. Like, give him some grace. Yeah. He's lost his mother. You know what I mean? Like, he's got all this stuff going on. He's got a lot going on. He's 17. I loved Malik. I loved how real he felt. He wasn't a perfect character. I mean, the book started with him breaking and entering and still in the car, which I was going to touch on with Jay.
Getting
I know you worked with
stomped out,
juveniles who maybe be able to relate to that because maybe
they loved him. They love Malik.
They didn't start out.
They love Malik. They want to go to college.
They want to go
I had kids saying, yo, is this really? They don't know what college is. These kids growing up in the inner city in Richmond, they don't know. When they read the book, I had a couple. I can't say the name, but I had a couple of kids. Like, is college really like this? Do they do all this when they go to college? Yes. And it's times 10. I said, you smoke and drink on the outside. You go to school, it's normal. It's times 10. Just do your work.
Yes.
Do your work and everything else will fall into place. So you definitely, and so I would say, what do you hope that Black boys take from your books? Or Black teens?
Black teens, and I hope that they like, yes, the breaking the generation cycle is on your shoulders. It's on our generation and it's on their generation's shoulders as well. And in that, it's going to be hard. And I want people to take away from this book that be connected, yo. Like, listen to your elders. Like, if you have elders in your family still, like, I talk to my friends about their grandmothers and their grandfathers and some of them still have like their great grandmothers and grandfathers. Listen to them, sit down with them and learn all you can, because when they die off, like, sometimes the Black family, they start to wither away. And so I really want people to be connected to their history, to their story, to know, no matter what background they come from, that it's okay. I hope this book shines a light on them and to reflect them, because Malik did receive a lot of judgment. Like, even like you were saying, like, about the whole Alexis thing. Well, if you break down the enemies to lovers trope, the white boys do the same thing
all the time,
and they treat the girl like crap. The whole
we just seen it in Fourth Wing, right?
Yeah, literally.
I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say nothing. Don't. I don't want people to kill me.
They get TikTok edits, right? They get, but that's something I'm always gonna say, and people may feel called out about it, and that's fine. But it was so interesting, and so I want a lot of adults who are reading these books to realize what they're saying, because these are Malik, as you just said, Jay. Like, there are Maliks out there in the world.
Mm-hmm.
He's real. Like, he's a real figure to a lot of people, and the way we criminalize young black men, not even in the classrooms, in the neighborhoods, and now in books, and then we wonder why they don't read. Why they don't like books, because they're seen as they're being criminalized. And so I want them to come to this book and say, wow, Malik, I can change my life around the same. I read Bloodattheroot, I read Bones at the Crossroads. I can change my life around because I have this, I have that. I can go, like you said, I can go to college. I can experience this. And I want them to take away that, because and to know that they are seen. Like, yes, the book is for black boys, but it's for black girls and it's for black kids in general. Like, it's just like, you don't have to come from some type of background to be seen as valuable. Like, Malik is not from a private school, both parents' upbringing, but his story matters, and kids like him and Alexis, who grew up in foster care, they matter. Like, their stories matter. It doesn't always have to end in tragedy. There's going to be some complications. They're gonna go through the ups and downs of it all. But I just want them to take away, just to be connected, like, for real. Like, be connected to any and everything in your life, in your family, to know that no matter your background, like, your story matters. Those kids that are in that juvenile detention center, like, their story matters, and they may be in there sometimes because somebody didn't listen to them, somebody didn't value their story, somebody didn't hug them and say it's going to be okay, like, it's going to be okay. And that's what I want people to take away from that. So yeah.
What character did you think was the hardest to write?
By the way, my favorite is Alexis. So I'm just throwing out there. That's my girl.
No more magic for her, I believe.
Can you stop, Jay? Stop.
Just my opinion.
Oh, she made
stripped.
A mistake.
All right.
That's what redemption arcs are for. Don't be coming at my girl.
We'll see. Maybe in book 3.
Everybody be coming for her.
No, I liked her. She reminds me of Killmonger from. I was just telling Jay that Killmonger from Black Panther. She's like, look, we got it. We should be helping all of our black people. And I love
not just her looking for Katia. We know.
Yes.
We know. She wanted we know. All the black girls and all the black boys and women, everybody that went missing, she wanted justice.
She was the only one. She was the only one.
Will that help her not get her powers taken from her? I don't know. We gotta wait and see. We just the fans.
Yeah, but we gotta wait and see. I have a feeling, we ain't seen the last of her.
But what character do you think was the hardest to write when you were going through the process of Bloodattheroot?
I'm trying to add Bones at the Crossroads too. Who's like the hardest character? I think Chancellor Bonclair is like the hardest.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a lot to him.
You know who I envisioned? I don't want to. Real quick. Yeah. I envisioned. Christopher B. Duncan playing him. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think you said that before. I was like, Christopher B. Yeah, that very and hard to break type of.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm sorry. Which character do you think was hardest to write?
Yeah, I think Taryn, and this is going over book 2, and I'm not spoiling it.
I see it, Jay.
I think there's a lot to him, and and I didn't grow up the way he did, and I didn't experience the grief that
he lost his whole family.
I
can experience that. So it's just like, how do I make this man human as much as possible, right? Because people do compare him. A lot of people compare him to Severus Snape.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Kind of like the Severus Snape of it all, but it's just like, he was just very hard, because even when I'm writing scenes where Malik is like talking to him, I'm like, I have to jump from Malik, but I also have to jump into Chancellor Taryn just to be like, what would an adult say to a child right in this scene, right? So Yeah, and y'all are going to see why in Bones at the Crossroads, and even in book 3, like y'all are going to see why I think, in my opinion, that Chancellor Taryn was kind of like a hard character to write because
it makes me
there's so much
excited
layers to him.
Because that's my only question. He asked him something at the end, and I can't wait to get that answer. I can't wait. That's the answer I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like,
when
we had a discussion.
When I found out that he was involved with the mom, I was like, that's his daddy.
Because we haven't seen no episode. We haven't seen no recollection of Malik's dad. But we're not gonna do that. We're gonna stay on track now. We're gonna stay on track because I don't want to.
Jay's right. That's something that I don't want to do. That is finding out, Malik's parentage. We already see the mom is not, and that was another really good twist as part of the book. I felt like because the whole time Malik is like, it's like,
who killed my mother? I need to find out.
And
I need to find out who killed my mother.
Someone passes away, and I'm using that lightly because we know what happened to the mom, but we think of all the positive things. Oh, they were just this, they were just that, and then Malik. Like there's point near the end where he's like, wait, let me remember my childhood.
Really remember my childhood.
Colored glasses. Really? And he realized his mom was slapping him. She was rude. She was being mean. And it shocked the hell out of me because the whole
I did not see that one coming.
He's like, I want my mom. Where's my mom? And I'm thinking they got her trapped. What if they made her do something and then she comes out of the tree thing, and then she's like, oh hey baby, acting all sweet, and then she completely changes. I was like, oh my gosh. And of course we know we haven't seen the last of the mom because she escaped, but
I'm trying to never mind. I can't even. And this is why I wanted to ask you on your live, like, what, July 29th? This was last year. I was like, for real? Like, we have to wait I have to deal with these kids asking me 1,000 questions. We done had mutual health groups talking about this book. They asking me, do I know you? I'm like, bro, I just met him. I jump into the live. I don't know what's happening. Oh, is such as accent is such and such going down. I'm like, oh. Well, yeah, you do bring up a good point. Let me ask you.
You're going to get a lot of questions. You're going to get a lot of answers. And again, like what I said earlier about the whole prologue scene, that speaks to a lot of Black kids, what they go through in homes and just childhood trauma. But looking at it through that in the lens of magic. And yeah, man, it was... I don't know, man. Like it was just that was hard to write. That I can't even hold you. Like that was really hard to write for Malik to discover that. And that wasn't a part of the original story.
What?
No. When I wrote the book, I was like, he's gonna find her, and like they're gonna have to face another evil entity. But I was like, no, like because I started researching about not limerence, but like sometimes when kids go through traumatic childhood trauma, they build up. Y'all remember the scene in Baby Boy where little Jody he built those pillows?
Oh yeah. Yep.
He built those little pillows. So like, and I learned that, and then I was watching a episode from This Is Us, how Randall was explaining about the ghost kingdoms, and I was like, and I researched a lot of childhood trauma where Black kids. A lot of kids who experience what Malik experienced, they build up fake
walls, fake memories.
Fake memories because that's them protecting themselves.
Yes. It's like a psychological thing. Like who would want to experience losing their mother and then knowing that their mother treated them like crap or slapped them or you know what I mean? It's just like they don't want to. They don't want
remember that type of. They want to remember them in a great light. And you kind of touched on your characters that reminded you of from the past or whatever the case may be. Sorry, Alexis wasn't one of them. We got the D-Lo. We got the D-Lo up out of it. You know what I'm saying? He told us about D-Lo. But what's something that you wanted to include, but it didn't make the final cut in Bloodattheroot?
Yeah, I think.
That you can say.
You can talk about.
No, yeah, I can say because I don't think it's going to even make it in book 3. Malik was supposed to rush, yo.
Wait, he's not rushing?
No.
Dang.
It didn't make it. It just didn't make it into the books. Like I wrote literally chapters upon chapters of him rushing, and I was going to go through like the history of like their fraternity and like how like not paddling, but like they have like their own magical version of like the pledges. And my friend, he went to an HBCU. Like we sat down for like at a restaurant for hours, and I was gathering all the research that he could tell me. man, it didn't make it in book 2, man. I don't think it's gonna make it in book 3.
I'm just want to say I would be rushing Daughters of the Ocean or the Ocean. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Ocean. I was literally reading it, and I didn't go to an HBCU. Regrettably, literally reading this book made me regret not going to an HBCU. Absolutely. But I was reading it, and I was like, that's why I said Alexis is my girl. I was like, yes, girl, we would have been best friends. We would have been pledging together. Like, yes. Now she started dealing in that dark magic. I would have probably had to been like Malik, like, look, girl, I love you.
Some people got to pay, man. Some people got to pay. You can't just rest. You can't rest.
Something that I mean,
but you will see. You will see the fraternities and the sororities in book 2.
Yeah.
It's just Malik's not going to be a part of it, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah,
it's okay.
But
it's okay.
See them, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, because it's homecoming. Book 2 is homecoming. So
this is what I wanted to ask you, going into our last question.
Yeah.
What do we have to look forward to? Like, if there's anything that you can say outside of, we're not trying to get you in trouble.
No.
Is there anything that you can, like, just what can we look forward to in Bones at the Crossroads?
Y'all are gonna look forward. You're gonna learn about the gang. That call.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn about Savon and Elijah and D'Lo a lot more. We're gonna see a lot of fun bromance moments between Malik and D'Lo.
Yep.
Okay.
They taking a home economics class. It's so fun.
Yep, it already sounds
fun.
My
god!
It's so fun. There's a lot of Malik is gonna be he's gonna be thrust into the world of homecoming, and it's a lot of responsibilities on his shoulders. We're gonna meet some new characters, like new family members. Mama Aya has some secrets, like she has.
I knew it was coming. Yeah, I knew it was coming.
So somebody shows up in book 2. Are they for Malik or are they against him? We don't know. We're gonna see a lot more of Cayman. We're gonna see a lot more of the school and like the history of it. So I'm excited for y'all to really delve into. I know we saw Cayman in book 1, but we're really gonna spend most of the time at Cayman in book 2.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and literally why I named it Bones at the Crossroads, because Malik is going to be at the crossroads and he's going to have to make a decision that's either going to elevate his life or it's going to destroy everything around him.
Ooh.
So, yeah, that's why you see him at the crossroads and the spirits, and he's going to dive into secret societies. And that professor that shows up at the end, there's a lot of connections to him. So I can think the people that learn her backstory, and for those that read The Crucible, we're going to learn a lot more. So, yeah. And that's what you can expect.
Okay. So another thing, I don't want to end on a bad note, but I definitely want to ask you this. How do you feel? Because I know I was in your live one time and you said it was still some doors that were being closed on you.
Oh, yeah.
What is happening with Target? Like, the face you made, what is going on with Target, and why I don't feel like they're supporting you enough? What's happening? If you can speak about it.
Yeah, I can speak about it because I wasn't told I can. So before the boycott, like even before Tabitha made the video, if that's what you're referring to. So Bloodattheroot, like even the hardcover, like my books were not they were not in Target, the hardcover. Like I didn't get the Target exclusive edition, even though I saw other books got it. I was notified that I wasn't going to get it. I thought my books were going to be in Target and Walmart because my mom was going to like Target. She's like, "Hey, where your books at? Like, I don't see your books."
Right.
I was like, it's just they're not going to stock them, and then I kind of had to push for them to stock the paperbacks. A year later, so it's just one of those things that was not in my control, and I'm glad that they're in there now. But now I'm like, now Black people are,
we're boycotting it.
Now we're boycotting it.
Yeah. It's like, yeah,
okay, like now y'all put it in there. But Target really does not support Black authors, especially if you go to Target and you go to their book section and even like the book talk section, right? Like it's nothing but white authors, yo.
Yep.
Like
nothing.
Me and Jay were just talking about that. They're like, they got a nice selection, but it's not a selection of like Black authors. And maybe this is doing the most. I don't know, but I love my people, and I've always felt like we should just have a section of Black authors. I don't understand. They got the different subgenres. This is book talk. This is this. Why do we not have one for like Black authors, especially for June is Juneteenth? You know what I mean? Because I went and I'm like, there's nothing there like for us. There's no books, and so it really is unfortunate. But me and Jay gonna get it wherever we can get it.
Absolutely,
it don't have to be Target. And I was wondering,
100%.
is Barnes and Noble gonna do like the midnight release like they do?
I got 10 people that's we're trying to see. We want to go.
Literally, because that's why I was like, I did it for Fourth Wing. I want to do it for this book coming out. I just didn't know if that's something that Barnes and Noble would be willing to do. Because I want my book at midnight. I literally am taking that day. Wait. I'm taking the day off. I can't wait.
I'm already off. I can
read it.
I'm already off, so I don't care. I'm already off. So
I don't. I don't have that privilege, to be quite honest with y'all.
Which is definitely a travesty because I prefer your book.
That's why I've been trying to talk about it every second I get, because it's just one of those books that I feel like more people should know. And you've touched on this a little bit. Black authors do not get the same platform as their white authors. Y'all have to work, I don't even want to say twice as hard, 4 times as hard to even get people to sell your books and then to display them when release dates come out. I know it can be challenging, but me and Jay, we about to just...
Because our whole summer consists of Blood at the Root and Bones at the Crossroads. Yes. That's all people are going to see this whole summer. Like, because you are a very talented man, and we need you in this space to continue. My brother, we are going to support you. I spread your name. I know you're going to be at the outpouring that you're going to see at Resist Books in September, because we know you coming to Petersburg. You're going to see because that's not too far from me. So you're going to see the support, and you're going to see some of the kids too. We're trying.
That's
amazing. We're making that happen. Amazing. And we need you. We need you in this space. I have never come across an author I've never come across a book like this.
Agreed.
This is honestly, this is by far my favorite book. This is my favorite book because I gravitated to this book so much, and my 14-year-old, he's about to start reading it because I need to get him cultured, and I don't want him to pick up one of those other books. Not to say that they're not good, but I want him to experience what a Black author can bring to the table, and that we don't go to school. Because I'm in Virginia. It's a lot of things in Virginia that I'm not really prone to, but I want to teach him so much about. There are African-American authors who do this at a high level and don't let nobody tell you different.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank y'all. That's so much encouragement for me.
No, you really, you did amazing.
We're definitely,
just amazing.
We're definitely not going to hold you up anymore. But what can people expect from you moving forward this year, as far as like any book releases, book dates, book tour dates? Do you?
Is that on your website yet? Because I've been waiting to see like when you're coming to Chicago. That's the one I want to go to.
I need to get my website back up.
Yes, you got to get it back up so I can plan.
I've been slacking. So I'm going on book tour. I'll be at Essence Fest July 4th weekend. I'll be in Birmingham, Alabama the end of July. One of them. It's end of July. I don't. Oh wait, my actual release date, July 25th. I'll be in Chicago July 30th.
Okay.
It's one of them. Okay. I know it's the 30th or the 1st. I'm going to post about it. And I'll be in St. Peter, Virginia. I'm going to be in, where else I'm going? I'm going somewhere else. I forgot.
Are you going to New York anytime soon? Like, are you touching in?
I'm actually going to New York. I'm going to New York in August. Not for a book thing, but like for my playwriting. I have a play going up.
Wow. So you Mr. Booked and busy.
Yeah. I'm glad we got in. I'm glad we could get him while we can. Because he's going to be a busy man the next couple of months.
Literally, he's doing the play. He's doing the book. And me and Jay were just talking like, as amazing as we find this book and as Hollywood continues to turn books into movies, we're hoping you already got your foot in the door. You already like a screenwriter, playwright. You already got these connections. I want to see Malik in real life. That's my dream.
Is there something in the works?
Like, yes.
I have a meeting this week.
That's so
we're going to
exciting.
pray. We are going to pray.
Actually, really, please pray.
Yes, absolutely.
There's some heavy hitters that are interested.
This
in
is amazing. Congratulations.
I'm not understanding why they wouldn't be.
Yes.
Why they wouldn't be. There's no reason why they wouldn't be. The book sells it. The book is going to sell itself. If they just take a plane ride, go somewhere and just listen to the audio book.
Literally.
Listen to the sounds, the nature, the way everything is described in the book, the sound effects. And you can't come back and tell me that you can't do. I'm not going to go into a tangent.
The audio was like a movie in itself.
Yes.
And then I did immersive reading. I was telling Jay, so I was listening to it and I was reading it at the same time. And it was such a beautiful experience. It was really like, I wanted to close my eyes at some point and just listen to it instead of reading it, because it really felt like I could, like, the way your writing is, I could see the movie in my head. Like, it's already, listen, so if you need somebody to bring it to life, remember us. listen, I like Alexis. I think she's cute. Now, she wasn't described as
this lady is not going to let it go. You're going to be heartbroken. Don't call me crying.
I'm just like,
don't call me crying. Hit up Mr. Williams, Mr. Ladarrion.
Like, I'm 31, but people say I look young. So just remember your girl.
Oh, you want to be yeah, we're definitely working on it. We're definitely working on it. Please send up prayers.
Absolutely.
To whoever you believe in, God, ancestors, whoever. Please send the vibes.
I'm gonna pray to Mama Aya wherever she is. She makes things happen.
Mama Aya, let it happen. It's already done. It's already done.
Yes, okay.
Speak it.
I just have to wait.
Yep.
But yeah, it's done. I can't wait to announce it one day,
Oh my God, I can't wait. I can't wait to announce it. But thank you so much, Ladarrion, for stopping by, for having a conversation with us, man. We appreciate you. You got 2 supporters here, and I can tell you, I know about 100 people out here in Virginia that love you and can't wait to see you and can't wait to meet you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me the space.
Yes.
To come on and talk and. Yeah, because it's important, and what y'all are doing is important. So thank y'all so much for what y'all are doing and supporting Black authors like me. And yeah, thank y'all.
Always
appreciate y'all, man.
Yes, thank you. And again, it was nice to meet you. I'm still fangirling. Like, I can't wait to get off the phone. I'm going to call my daddy and be like, Daddy, guess what? I talked to a celebrity today.
For real. Because she could not stop. I got to be honest. She could not stop teasing. She was sitting there. I said, he's a cool guy, man. Don't be. I was nervous too on the low, because I was like, this is not my first author interview, but this was important to me.
Yes.
So, I had to make sure that we had to come correct. So we just wanted to make sure that
Absolutely. I'm always down to talk to my people. Yes. So thank you.
Yes.
Again, anytime. After Book2 releases, we can have another conversation.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, no problem. Thank you for joining us, man. This is the Key and J Book Podcast episode. She's That Reader. I'm just a speaker. Till next time. Peace.